Things inside. Whatever you want to do, work out. Here's what you gotta do. Just hold on. See, things like it tough things. But just hold on. Don't worry about things. Hold on. We're gonna make it, y'all. Hold on. But that's gonna be all right. We got trouble in life dealing with this world. But you just hold on, things. Yeah. Hold on. Hold on, things. Here's a beautiful song, y'all. When the children stand like they just won't go away. Dreams that you down, things getting tossed around. Just hold on. We like to sing. And it goes a little like this. Come on, listen. La, 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 la. Come on, y'all. I ain't nothing. It's gonna be all right. Hold on. You know I got God got it. We're gonna make it. It's gonna be all right, thing. It's gonna be all right. Just hold on, saints. It's gonna be all right. Just hold on, saints. I want to encourage you to hang in it. Because God got it. If my people who are called by my name should humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will heal them. But see, like the world coming down. My secret, because God got it. You are benefit in being a child of God. Just hold on. Change is coming, change. We said again, say, hold on, because the change is coming. That's going to benefit us. You can make a stay. Stay prayed up. Stay faithful. No, God got you. Our Lord, my God. Whatever you want to do. It's gonna work out, things. It's gonna work out. Just hold on. Change is coming. Worry about things. Just hold on. know who you belong to. God got you. He's the provider, protector, the healer, Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Nissi, Alpha and Omega, faithful and true. That's who he is. That's who got you. Just hold on, faith. Hold on. Don't give up. Just hold on. Change is coming. Hold on. Don't worry about things. Just hold on. Don't have to worry about nothing. It's gonna be all right, thank you. My Lord, my God, my Redeemer. Just look. Like this. La la. 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 Don't change the color things. Don't worry about things. Just hold on, things. You can make it. We're gonna make a thing. Everything's gonna be all right. Just hold on. Change is coming. Just hold on. Hold on to that faith. Hold on to that love. Hold on to that gospel. It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right, thing. It's gonna be all right. My Lord, my God, and my Redeemer. It's gonna be all right, thing. It's gonna be all right. My Lord, my God, and my Redeemer.
You brought this case before the court. What's going on?
I'm currently paying for extracurricular activities for our daughter. It's a little bit more money than I thought it was going to be, so I would like my wife Sheila to reimburse me for it.
What type of extracurricular activities is the child involved?
So our daughter is very big into sports. So she plays soccer. It's just like the cost of cleats, the cost of like gloves, because she plays goalie. It's just a lot of upkeep for me, and she makes more money than I do.
I see here, ma'am, from the tax returns that you make about $100,000 a year. You don't want to pay child support?
I don't think it's necessary. We split her 50-50. She's at my house just as much.
I would say that's probably an argument for her to pay me. If we're splitting 50-50, I shouldn't have to pay all of it.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say. So you kind of like told yourself. You do understand that as the child gets older and heavily involved in different activities, I wasn't done.
Oh.
Involved heavily in different activities, you understand that expenses increase.
Sure.
Brings your child support obligation to $1,391. You brought this case before the court. What's going on?
I'm currently paying for extracurricular activities for our daughter. It's a little bit more money than I thought it was going to be, so I would like my wife Sheila to reimburse me for it.
What type of extracurricular activities is the child involved?
So our daughter is very big into sports. So she plays soccer. It's just like the cost of cleats, the cost of like gloves, because she plays goalie. It's just a lot of upkeep for me, and she makes more money than I do.
I see here, ma'am, from the tax returns that you make about $100,000 a year. You don't want to pay child support?
I don't think it's necessary. We split her 50-50. She's at my house just as much.
I would say that's probably an argument for her to pay me.
So let me just make sure I got this straight. He's voluntarily giving you $1,000 a month for child support, correct?
That's correct.
He has the children, you said Sunday through Wednesday,
Yes,
which means you have them Wednesday through Sunday.
that's correct.
Who pays health insurance?
I do, Your Honor.
How much is health insurance?
It's roughly $309 a month. She asked me a question. But
All
she's
right.
still talking to me though.
Okay, I did ask him a question. So everything that I just repeated back to you is accurate, right?
He has money. He's spending on other.
That wasn't my question. Everything that I just repeated back to you is accurate, right?
Pretty much.
So I'm confused as to why you're here. Are you trying to put him on
I want to put him on.
So let me just make sure I got this straight. He's voluntarily giving you $1,000 a month for child support, correct?
That's correct.
He has the children, you said Sunday through Wednesday,
Yes,
which means you have them Wednesday through Sunday.
that's correct.
Who pays health insurance?
I do, Your Honor.
How much is health insurance?
It's roughly $309 a month. She asked me.
This man was cutting branches off a massive maple tree when something shocking occurred. Understanding the need for extra precaution since the tree was already dead and unstable, he carefully sawed the large branches one by one. Realizing the urgency, he knew he had to bring the entire tree down quickly, as it posed a danger of falling on nearby pedestrians at any moment. With precise knowledge of how to make it fall forward, he skillfully cut out a chunk of wood and set it aside. Using his chainsaw, he continued to slice through more of the trunk, ensuring each move was executed with great caution to avoid any potential accidents involving bystanders. This man was cutting branches off a massive maple tree when something shocking occurred. Understanding the need for extra precaution since the tree was already dead and unstable, he carefully sawed the large branches one by one. Realizing the urgency, he knew he had to bring the entire tree down quickly.
The brat and Miss Big Booty Judy. just had a brand new baby, and not just any baby. We celebrate any baby. This ain't gonna be just any baby. Keep your eye on this one. This gonna be one of the greatest babies that was ever born. You ain't never seen a baby like this. You talking about 100% white man with a strong black woman as a mom and a strong black woman as a daddy. You ain't gonna be able to tell this white shit. You hear me? He gonna be showing up at the cookout unannounced, knocking over potato salad and trying ribs. He's a gang member at night, and by day he owns a credit union. The brat and Miss Big Booty Judy.
I don't know why you're getting at. I don't know why you're getting attitude with me, because I'll give you 180 days at the state jail facility to give you a little taste of what it is. Every time there's a phone call made from the jail, what ends up happening is they give the defendant's name, SID number, and they tell you that this call is being recorded. But you still going forward with that nonsense, you trying to injure your sister who's only 16 over a phone charge that probably neither one of you paid for. Your mom is probably the only person who's working, and you all are doing stupid stuff. Look at you now. You're in an orange uniform, no education, with a SID number, and now you're going to be on paper, and you're going to have this felony following you around wherever you go, because you don't want to get your education, and you want to hang out with some thugs because y'all are watching video games or whatever nonsense y'all are doing. You all could have ended up getting killed, running around with a gun. You know what would end up happening? Your mom would have been crying on the news, asking people to do a GoFundMe. I don't know why you're getting attitude with me, because I'll give you 180 days at the state.
Shh, I see that. What? He done swiped the cheese. Man, what you doing with the Jack Daniels and the cheese, man? What you doing?
You all have 2 children?
Yes, sir.
Do you don't have any outside children or anything like that? Just 2 total?
No, she just got Rufus. We can add him on to that.
We're not
And
adding.
you know you have outside kids. I don't know what you're sitting over there lying for. You know you
Excuse
got
me,
kids.
ma'am.
Probably one on the yes,
Do you hear me speaking?
yes.
She look pregnant
Okay.
right now.
You know what? That's
I like your
now I
nerve
see why
on
you
shiny
guys could
head.
never be married. Excuse me, I think I'm talking. Last time I checked, this was my courtroom, right?
Yes, ma'am. So
Okay, so I don't need you all talk.
Mr. Holmes, you don't believe that's your baby. And that's why we took a DNA test to find out whose baby it is. But whoever's baby it is, I want to hold it. So Joe, could you get it? Would he mind?
I don't know.
Yeah, because I heard him before he got a set of lungs on him. I don't want to start no stuff. How you doing? Hello. Yes, I have accepted. Oh my God. How are you? You gonna be a judge one day? Go around tell people what to do. It's a lot of fun. The robe is ugly, but other than that, it's a good job. Oh, almost enough to make it go again. Mr. Holmes, you don't believe that's your baby. And that's why we took a. You brought this case before the court. What's going on?
So today I'm at home by myself because my husband is at work, so I decided to do a little cleaning around the house. And while I'm doing the dishes, I heard a knock at the door. And when I asked who is it, nobody answered. So I looked through my peephole and it's somebody that I don't even recognize. But it's a man, so I'm thinking he's a friend of my husband. So I go ahead and open the door. And out of nowhere, this man asked me, do I have a vajayjay? Now I'm standing there looking confused because obviously he can see that I'm a woman. So why are you asking me if I have lady parts, knowing that I have lady parts? But anyways, I didn't even answer the man. I just slammed the door in his face and I went back to cleaning my house. Well, a couple of hours passed and I hear another knock at my door. And when I opened my door, it was the same man from earlier asking me the same question. Do I have a vajayjay? Well, this time I said to him, I don't know why you're at my door, but when my husband comes home, he'll deal with you. And that's when I slammed the door in his face again. So later on in the day, my husband comes home and I tell him what happened. And then my husband said to me, well, if that man comes back tonight, I want you to answer the door and I'll hide behind the door and listen. This time he wanted me to say yes to the man's question just to see where he was going with this. So my husband is in the living room watching TV and I'm in the kitchen making dinner, and sure enough, the same man knocked on our door. But this time my husband got up and ran to the door before me, and that's when he told me to pretend like he's not even there. So I opened the door and the man asked me the question again, do I have a vajayjay? And this time I told him yes, just like my husband told me to do. And that's when the man looked at me and said, well, would you mind telling your husband to leave my wife's alone and start using yours? So today I'm at home by myself because my husband is at work, so I decided to do a little cleaning around
Are you a man of God?
Yes, I am a man of God. I will be a man of a God to the day I die. I know who went to the cross for me and shed his blood for me. Nobody needs to tell me that. Not you, not anybody else. Get your facts straight.
All right, here's a fact for you right here.
Why aren't you outside tattoo shops and bars preaching this to people?
I've done it outside of ours too.
I've never seen it.
So here's Romans chapter 1. For this reason, God gave them up to vile passion. For even their women exchanged the natural use of what is against nature. The men, leaving the natural use for women, burned in their lust for one another. Men with men committing what is shameful, and receiving in themselves the penalty of their error which was due. And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a debased mind, to do the things which are not fitting, being filled with all unrighteousness, sexual immorality, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, and keeps going. You said it's not in the Bible, and I just read the Bible to you, and you're trying to speak over me while I'm reading the Bible. But you said you're a Christian, you said you're a man of God, and you're rejecting the scripture. Are you a man of God?
Yes, I am a man of God. I will be a man of a God to the day I die. I know who went to the cross for me and shed his blood for me. Nobody needs to tell me that. Not you, not anybody else. Get your facts straight.
All right, here's a fact for you right here.
Why aren't you outside tattoo shops and bars preaching this to people?
I've done it outside of ours.
The man is undeniably a genius. He stacks hundreds of blades together, then places them into a metal box, along with high-carbon steel powder. After this process, the final product can sell for $100,000. At this moment, you can see, he seals the metal box with a welding machine, then drills a hole in the metal can as an exhaust vent. Next, he places the metal box into a fire, adding charcoal and lighting it. As the bellows work, the iron block turns red hot. He then moves it to the air hammer platform, pressing it to fully fuse the blades and high-carbon steel powder inside, preparing for the next step. After pressing, he puts it back into the furnace to burn. Once red hot, he repeatedly hammers it with the air hammer, forming a solid block to ensure uniformity of the material. He uses an angle grinder to cut open the outer metal box and removes the steel billet from the center with a chisel. The billet requires welding a section of rebar for easier handling. Then it's reheated in the furnace. Once red hot, he sprinkles borax on the surface. This removes internal forging impurities and enhances the billet's strength. This step requires repeated hammering, taking a long time to complete. Next, he uses an angle grinder to cut along the marked lines to achieve the desired shape. Then, he takes the cut billet and welds it into a handle with a welding machine. Using a grinder, he smooths the entire surface. After smoothing, he grinds one side thinner, achieving this effect. He sands the surface again for added smoothness. Then it goes into an oven for heating. Once red hot, it's quickly submerged in oil. Quenching increases the hardness and strength of the steel and iron. He sands the surface again to remove any oil residue. After polishing, it's soaked in a diluted acidic solution for half an hour. Reacting with the acid reveals a Damascus pattern. After cleaning, the pattern becomes more visible. He then drops glue into a hole in a wooden handle, adds some copper and iron pieces, and inserts the handle into the hole. Adjusts everything until set. Then uses a wheel grinder to smooth the handle. After polishing, he applies some wood wax oil. With that, the Damascus pattern steel knife is complete. So, what do you think of his craftsmanship? Out of 10, how would you rate his work? The man is undeniably a genius. He stacks hundreds of blades together, then places them into a metal box, along with high-carbon steel powder. After this process, the final product can sell for $100,000. At this
police officer didn't know I was a lieutenant and got into trouble.
It's over 30410.
And your name?
I don't need to provide you my name, but I can give you my badge number.
You do need to provide 2 pieces of ID under the Community Policing Act. Yes, you do. It's, how do you pronounce that? Doiron?
So how come you're here recording today,
So you know why you have that on your chest, right?
sir?
Do you know why you have that on your chest? Just to be very straightforward with you, do you know why you wear your name and your badge number? Because you have to identify to people. What if I can't read?
I don't have my badge number on me, sir. I just have my
Where is it? It's written on you somewhere, isn't it?
I only have my name on the phone.
Okay. So
So
what seems to be the issue?
I need to know what you're reporting here today. We had a call for service that you were reporting outside our headquarters, so that's just why I'm asking.
So who called for service? Was it one of the officers hanging out in the parking lot?
I don't know who called, but either way, I need to get an understanding as to why you're here.
Why? Am I breaking a law?
No, I'm just asking why you're here.
I'm not breaking a law, so therefore I have no obligation to explain myself to you. I'm working on a little project, as you can see. And you interrupted me while I was narrating, so.
Okay, what kind of project are you working on?
This police officer didn't know I was a lieutenant and got into trouble.
It's over 30410.
One time I was trying to check into a hotel in Chicago at 1 o'clock in the morning because I missed my flight. Nobody's at the front desk, just a little bell.
and a sign that said ring for service. So there I am. All of a sudden, I heard this. I hear the band. All of a sudden, this lady came out. Are you the one ringing that damn bell? What the hell you want? I'm checking in. You know what time it is? It's tomorrow. Oh, no, I missed my flight. Whatever you say. What's going on out there? Girl, you gotta see this. I got a big ass Mexican showing up later. Okay. What's your name? My name is Gabriel Iglesias. Iglesias. Yes, Iglesias. Okay, Iglesias. Okay, E-G-L. No. It's Iglesias with an I. What an I? But you said Iglesias. You didn't say Iglesias. You said Iglesias. It's Iglesias with an I. Whatever you say, it's your damn name, okay? Mr. Iglesias with an I. You know, that's bad for you. Oh, that's right here? My grandmama lived to be 100 years old. Smoking? Minding her own damn business, okay? Mr. Iglesias, what Okay, I found you in the system. I got you for 2 nights, full-size bed, non-smoking. I requested a queen-size bed. And you would have got a queen if you'd have been here yesterday. But it's tomorrow, and you're lucky I'm talking to you. Mr. Iglesias, what What's the I stand for? I need a bigger bed. Girl, you gotta see this. Nacho Libre is tripping. Whatever. Give me a hard time. One time I was trying to check into a hotel in Chicago at 1 o'clock in the morning because I missed my flight. Nobody's at the front desk, just a little bell and a sign that said ring for service. So there I am. All of a sudden, I heard this. I hear the band. All of a sudden, this lady came out. Are you the one ringing that damn bell? What the hell you want? I'm checking in. You know what time it is? It's tomorrow. Oh, no, I missed my flight. Whatever you say. What's going on out there? Girl, you gotta see this. I got a big ass Mexican showing up later. Okay. What's your name? My name is Gabriel Iglesias. Iglesias. Yes, Iglesias. Okay, Iglesias. Okay, E-G-L. No. It's Iglesias with an I. What an I? But you said Iglesias. You didn't say.
Black celebs who left Hollywood for God. #1, Chris Tucker. After skyrocketing to fame with Rush Hour, Tucker took a step back from Hollywood, prioritizing his Christian faith and choosing roles that align with his values. #2, Montel Jordan. Best known for his hit, This Is How We Do It, Jordan left the music industry to become a worship leader and pastor, focusing on ministry and spreading his faith. #3, Megan Good. Megan became increasingly vocal about her Christian faith after marrying pastor and filmmaker Devin Franklin. She began focusing on roles that aligned with her beliefs before their eventual divorce. #4, Tasha Smith. While still active in entertainment, Smith turned to faith during a period of struggle and now credits her Christianity as her guiding light, with plans to take on more faith-based roles and projects. #5, Shirley Caesar, a gospel legend. Caesar walked away from secular music opportunities early in her career to focus exclusively on gospel, becoming a Black celebs who left Hollywood for God. #1, Chris Tucker.
Why was this the first time anyone thought of this trick? How come no one noticed this possibility before? First, he inserted a furniture key into the drill and unscrewed its head. Then, he placed a screw into the head and screwed it onto the handle. Now, here comes the most interesting part. By securing a jigsaw blade in that same head, you'll see what happens. It's brilliant in its simplicity. Why was this the first time anyone thought of this trick? How come no one noticed this possibility before? First, he inserted a furnace.
The former president of Kenya, President Uhuru Kenyatta, has had the greatest response to the people whining and crying about Trump cutting funding. Here is President Kenyatta.
People the other day crying, oh, I don't know, Trump has removed money. He said he's not giving us any more money. What do you want? Why are you crying? It's not your government, it's not your country. He has no reason to give you anything. And you don't pay taxes in America. He's appealing to his people. Show here, but this is a wake-up call for you to say, okay, what are we going to do to help ourselves? Instead of crying, you listen, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Yeah? To support ourselves. Because nobody is going to continue holding out a hand there to give you. It is time for us to use our resources for the right things. We are the ones.
This woman just realized that prison life is not for her.
Good afternoon. We are here for first appearance, the afternoon session. First on my list to see is Jadarius Jones. Okay, are you Jadarius Jones?
Yes, sir.
All right, I have read the arrest and booking report. I do find there to be probable cause for the 4 charges against you. I am going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Mr. Jones, you've been charged with 3 separate counts of second-degree murder. You've also been charged with a separate count of armed robbery. You will be held without bond on all 4 of those charges. Your next court date is going to be February 7th, and that'll be in felony court.
That's it.
Say it again.
This woman just realized that prison life is not for her.
Good afternoon. We are here for first appearance.
This picture right here. What?
Yeah, take care of my daddy right now because the Bible says honor your mother and your father. It did not say honor them if they're honorable. It says that your days may be long. Y'all ain't talking to me up in here on the earth. So now the same daddy that didn't give me his last name, the same daddy that raped my mama to get me, the same daddy who denied me in court as a 12-year-old to my face. Now I take care of him. Now I pay his bills and now I wipe his behind. Y'all ain't got quiet up in here. Because until you learn how to do right by people who did you wrong, God can't trust you with house.
This picture right here. What?
I will tell you a funny story. Okay, so now this is a true story. We're waiting for the big checks to come, the Commodores. And Ronald received his check, Tommy received his check, and I kept asking my mom and dad, I'm looking for a check. Just gonna come. Dad, have you seen it? No, son, haven't. Mom, have you seen it? No, haven't seen it. Everybody has their check. I didn't get mine. So my mother goes down to the bank on Monday, and Mr. Parker, the bank president, Mrs. Ritchie. Oh, so wonderful to see you. Please, Mrs. Ritchie will do her big banking in my office. Please bring all of her papers. And my mother said, did we miss a payment? What my dad had done was, I am Lionel Richie Jr. For his entire life, anything came to the house with Lionel Richie on it, that was him. He got my check and deposited it in his account. I will tell you a funny story. Okay, so now this is a
This man must have graduated from Stuntman University because people call him the recoil guy, as he can literally mimic the movement after getting shot by getting into any position he wants and letting himself fall as if he's no longer alive, which he demonstrates by moving his body sideways during the jump. And for this reason, people are speculating that he's secretly training for Squid Game Season 3. But while he does need to run once in a while, he's basically falling dramatically for a living. This man must have graduated from Stuntman University because people call him the recoil guy, as he can literally mimic the movement.
You took out a loan against a life insurance policy for.
She was one of 17 children.
You know. In Brazil, locals are using chainsaws to cut wood, not for firewood, but for planting cassava. These cut pieces are not ordinary logs. They are cassava stems. Unlike rice or corn, which propagate through seeds, cassava is commonly grown using stem cuttings. The cuttings, typically 15 to 20 centimeters long, are planted directly into the soil under suitable conditions of temperature, moisture, and sunlight. The buds on these stem segments sprout and grow into new plants. Cassava is a vital crop in tropical regions. It can be used as a staple food and is also processed into starch and other products. In cassava growing like Brazil, mechanized cutting has greatly improved productivity. Chainsaws or specialized machines can process thousands of cassava stems, reducing labor requirements and accelerating the planting process. In Brazil, locals are using chainsaws to cut wood, not for fire.
Fine. You don't need to approach me.
Excuse me?
You can stay right there.
I don't need to approach you?
No, you can stay right back there. You can walk back that way. You can walk back that way.
Yeah.
Keep walking back that way.
Can you de-escalate a little bit? Because I feel like you're trying to just exert your authority over me and I don't like it.
I'm not. I'm speaking to you in my normal voice.
You have no authority over me. Okay?
Actually, I do.
I'm in a public building. I'm
And
conducting
they're
lawful
asking you to
business.
leave.
I'm conducting lawful business. No, they didn't. That's a
Yes,
lie.
they did.
They did not ask me to.
They asked you to leave and they said that you
I'm
were
conducting business.
to be
I'm
here.
conducting business.
Therefore, you need to leave the location.
I'm conducting business. I'm doing a Freedom of Information Act request.
They asked you to leave.
So
And
you're
that,
saying, can I get a supervisor here?
right here.
Hi. I'm conducting local business. I'm an independent journalist, exercising my freedom of press right.
Okay.
It's a right, not a privilege. Freedom of press. This is a public building. You guys have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 officers here, 6 including yourself, Sergeant.
Okay.
It's completely uncalled for. I'm trying to conduct business.
Okay. What is your business? What are you trying to
I'm doing a Freedom of Information request, which is a law.
Okay.
And I'm also gathering content for a story.
Okay. Right now, we were called here by the people who work in this office building.
Okay.
They are concerned for their safety and their well-being, that there is somebody in here, they've asked you to step out and to leave and stuff to you.
They did not. I have it on camera. They did not ask me to leave.
Okay, that's what.
This is the fishing master's hook tying technique. First, create a loop with the fishing line and place it over the hook, then pull it tight. Next, make another loop over the hook and fishing line. Repeat this process 8 times. Finally, insert the end of the fishing line into the last loop on the hook and pull it tightly. The more you pull, the tighter the knot becomes. This is the fishing master's hook tying technique. First, create a loop with the fishing line and place it over the hook, then pull it tight. Next, make another loop over the hook and fishing line. Repeat this process 8 times. Finally, insert the end of the fishing line into the last loop on the hook and pull it tightly. The more you pull, the tighter the knot becomes. This is the fishing master's hook tying technique.
The richest Black family in the U.S. is worth an astounding $9.2 billion. And guess what? It's not who you might think. While you may guess it's Michael Jordan's family, they're worth $3 billion. Jay-Z and Beyonce's family stands at $2.6 billion, and the media queen Oprah Winfrey and her family are worth $3.76 billion. But at number 1, we have Robert Smith and his family with a net worth of $9.2 billion. Robert is the CEO of Vista Equity Partners, a private equity firm. He's not only a successful businessman, but also a well-known philanthropist. The richest Black family in the U.S. is worth an astounding
This British craftsman builds a perfect radius step in just 30 seconds. First, he installs step edge blocks in a perfect curve, using a pinned wood as a guide. Notice how he applies cement to the base of each block, bonding them to the foundation layer. He continues placing the block, then moves on to the next step. He levels another base layer to the proper height for the step tread blocks. Adding a line of curved blocks enhances the build's aesthetics. Then he skillfully lays block after block, staggering them for better stability and load distribution to ensure a strong and lasting surface. Finally, he fills the gaps with jointing compound, and this is the result. This British craftsman builds a perfect radius step in just 30 seconds.
Let's go to the final of the women's 4x100 meter relay. The USA can see Jamaica early in this race. The first two passes have been made. Jamaica and the US down the back stretch. Look at Shelly Ann Fraser-Price go. But it's a good run from TT Terry. She has held her own, but now the Jamaicans have taken the lead. It's up to Gabby Thomas to close the gap. Gabby Thomas up against Shashalee Forbes. Thomas gets the lead, gives it to Sha'Carri Richardson. Here comes Sharika Jackson. It's Sha'Carri and Sharika. The USA in front. Nobody's catching Sha'Carri Richardson. Let's go for the United States. Let's go to the final of the women's 4x100 meter relay. The USA can see Jamaica early in this race. The first two passes have been made. Jamaica and the US down the back stretch. Look at Shelly Ann Fraser-Price go. But it's a good run from TT Terry. She has held her own, but now the Jamaicans have taken the lead. It's up to Gabby Thomas to close the gap. Gabby Thomas up against Shashalee Forbes. Thomas gets the lead, gives it to Sha'Carri Richardson. Here comes Sharika Jackson. It's Sha'Carri and Sharika. The USA in front. Nobody's catching Sha'Carri Richardson. Let's go for the United States. Let's go to the final of the women's 4x100 meter relay.
Cookie, I'm running a little behind. Oh, good. You just need to tell whoever that is they got a family. I'm sorry, tell me what? Tell you that you gotta get out of that chair because it's time for my appointment. Oh, well, we'll be done short. I'm sorry, Cookie. She came in off the streets, put down 2 stacks, and her friends over there were hella persuasive about it. Lucius, what the hell do you want?
Anika called, says she wants to come home. Thought you might want to know.
I'm sorry about that. Fine, sometimes you just need to empty the trash. I was here, baby. Mama is a dead bitch walking. Where's my daughter? Don't worry about Bella. She's safe, which is more than I can say for you right now. I did not snitch on you.
I know you've been really nice and helpful with me. You've become a huge problem, and I don't see a reason why we should just kill you right now.
What? Let your mama do it.
Give me the gun. Where'd you get this?
It was in her purse.
You had 1 week to figure out a way to make your plan work, or I'm gonna be forced to let my mama do what she's been dying in.
Cookie, I'm running a little behind. Oh, good. You just need to tell whoever that is they got.
Which country has a higher ratio of women to men? Boys, if you are single, then you need to watch the full video. In 5th place, it's Japan. In Japan, with 105 women for every 100 men, where the ladies are leading at 105 to 100, making the dating scene a tight race. In 4th place, it's Romania. Romania has about 115 women for every 100 men, where every woman might just need 1 man and a little backup. But which country ranks in 3rd place? It's Portugal. Portugal has around 116 women for every 100 men. Women are likely to say 1 man is just not enough. In the 2nd place, it's Russia. Russia has about 120 women for every 100 men. Still, if you're still single, you should go to Russia. You might find a Russian in your fate. But which country that holds the #1 slot? It's Ukraine. Ukraine has around 137 women for every 100 days.
That dog barks all the time. Ma'am, do you know if the dog's owner is home? Mm-hmm.
Shut up, Missy.
Hey, whoa, there's no need for that.
Honey, she's my dog. I can treat her however the hell I want.
Sir, we've received a complaint about your dog.
Am I? You call the damn cops?
Your dog's a menace. It's bark, bark, bark all day long.
It's a dog. It's kind of their thing.
Ma'am, just step aside. I'll handle this. So you need to try to keep your dog from barking.
No problem. I'm good at making bitches shut their mouths.
Not taking care of the dog or else. What? If I have to come back here, or even get a whiff that you were abusing this animal, I will make you my personal project. Do you understand? That dog barks all the time.
This is the scariest army in the world. This elite force comes from an African country. These soldiers aren't just strong, they are giants, towering, well-built, and with some of the toughest skin in the world. They are built for war. Their endurance is unmatched, their training is brutal, and their strength is almost superhuman. Imagine an army so powerful that a single soldier can carry an entire military base on his back. Now that might sound exaggerated, but here's where it gets even crazier. These warriors can launch themselves off the ground and take off with parachutes, just like Captain America. This is the scariest army in the world. This elite force comes from an African country. These soldiers aren't just strong, they are giants, towering, well-built, and with some of the toughest skin in the world. They are built for war. Their endurance is unmatched, their training is brutal, and their strength is almost superhuman. Imagine an army so powerful that a single soldier.
You know better. Why aren't you fighting them kids at school? You know, you just trying to pick up on these kids. Ain't no kids you first. The teacher already called me. You think you slick out? No, I'm gonna get your daddy to handle you because you don't listen. Watch this. Come here, boom. You better have it.
Look, you fight in school? It's a win. Just don't get cold. Don't get cold. You can't buy shit like a beta, so you gotta live like you grab a bunch of water. It's water in there. Ready. I apologize, sir. Look, I ain't gonna keep doing this, brother. You can try, okay, if I hurt her.
Yes, sir. You know better. Why aren't you fighting them kids at school?
Pay attention. A pack of hunting dogs has terrified the young brown bear so much that he's forced to climb up a tree for safety. Despite his strength, Brown Bear is no match for such a large group of dogs. Left with no other choice, he surrenders to the situation. What the hunting dogs don't realize is that their doom might be closer than they think. If Brown Bear were a few years older, he could likely take them all down with a single swipe each. But for now, as a juvenile, he's too young and inexperienced to stand a chance against them. Terrified and desperate, all Brown Bear wants is to go home and find his mother. Even though a biochemical weapon has been deployed, the hunting dogs refuse to back off. Determined and relentless, they continue to surround the tree. Frozen with fear, Brown Bear climbs higher and higher, unable to come down. Below, the hunting dogs can only glare upward helplessly, frustrated and unable to reach their prey. Pay attention. A pack of hunting dogs have...
Trump's a wild guy. He's a wild guy. I'll tell you some of the things that made me crazy when he was running for president. When he was running for president, he said this at a debate. He said the Haitians in Springfield, Ohio, were eating people's dogs and cats. That really upset me because I live in Ohio. In fact, I live, what's up, Ohio? I live one town over from Springfield. Now, those of you who are from Ohio, I hope you know that's not what's happening in Springfield at all. What happened in Springfield is a lot of jobs went away. 20,000 Haitian immigrants were moved there by our government legally, and they pay market value for their rents, and they saved a lot of companies because they did jobs that the whites weren't doing. It's not.
If you want to start an argument, tell somebody that the nation of Israel or that Jewish people are God's chosen. That'll start an argument. Because the first thing they do is say, what you're trying to say, I'm not chosen. Because they don't understand what they were chosen for. To bear the burden of God placing his hand on you makes you the subject or the object of being targeted. Because the first thing they're going to say when things go awry or things don't go like you want, the first thing they're going to say, where's your God? Certainly Israel has heard that enough. If you want to start an argument, you need to hear this.
If you want something that really blows your mind,
Yeah.
if you look at Genesis chapter 1, it's so deep, bro. For example, he says, you shall have dominion over the fish of the sea and the fowl of the air. And then he says every creepeth thing. People would always ask, like, why did God say specifically those animals? Why fish of the sea and fowl of the air? When I read in context, especially in the Hebrew Aramaic, you can see that fish and birds have something that's really different and unique than other animals. They have two birds. So they have the egg, and then the bird will crack and come out. Fish is caviar, yeah, and then they'll swim out. The human beings need two birds too. We're born once, and then we're reborn in the spirit.
Also, birds and fish are both made from water as well.
True.
And are we made new with water?
Sure.
Baptism.
Yeah. And then birds, what's beautiful about them is they can defy gravity, meaning they can go against the flow. Fish can swim upstream, also go against the flow. And when we're born again, we can go against the flow of the world. So that's
subscribe for more content like this. You need to hear this.
if you want something that really
Out of my room. See this motherfucker right here? Motherfucker think he's special. He don't work like that around here, homeboy. Yeah, he come over with the pack. Feel me? They kind of tight too. That shit don't mean that around here though, blood. I've seen a whole lot of big motherfuckers get that bent over every day. Talking to you, partner.
You got to the count of 5.
Smoke. We're talking to me.
1.
Yeah, smoke.
2.
3. Just signed your own death certificate.
I need you to deliver a message. I want you to tell every fucker behind these walls that if they get the notion of put me, don't.
See this motherfucker right here? Motherfucker think he's special. He It don't work like that around your home, boy. Yeah, you come up with the pack. Feel me? They kind of tight too. That shit don't mean that around here though, blood. I done seen a whole lot of belt motherfuckers get that bent over here every day. Talking to you, partner.
You got to the count of 5.
Smoke. We're talking to me.
1.
Yeah, smoke.
2.
3. Just signed your own death certificate.
I need you to deliver a message. I want you to tell every fucker behind these walls that if they get the notion of quit me, don't.
Out of my road. See this motherfucker right here? Fucker think he's special. It don't work like that around your home, boy. Yeah, you come up with the pack. Feel me? They kind of tight too. That shit don't mean that around here though, blood. I done seen a whole lot of belt motherfuckers get that bent over here every day. Talking to you, partner.
You got to the count of 5.
Smoke. We're talking to me.
1.
Yeah, smoke.
2. 3.
Just signed your own death certificate.
I need you to deliver a message. I want you to tell every fucker behind these walls that if they get the notion of quit me, don't.
Out of my road. See this motherfucker right here? Fucker think he's special. It don't work like that around your home, boy. Yeah, you come up with the pack. Feel me? They kind of tight too. That shit don't mean that around here though, blood. I done seen a whole lot of belt motherfuckers get that bent over here every day. Talking to you, partner.
You got to the count of 5.
Smoke. We're talking to me.
1.
Yeah, smoke.
2.
3. Just signed your own death certificate.
I need you to deliver a message. I want you to tell every fucker behind these walls that if they get the notion of quit me, don't.
Out of my road. See this motherfucker right here? Fucker think he's special. It don't work like that around your home, boy. Yeah, you come up with the pack. Feel me? They kind of tight too. That shit don't mean that around here though, blood. I done seen a whole lot of belt motherfuckers get that bent over here every day. Talking to you, partner.
You got to the count of 5.
Smoke. We're talking to me.
1.
Yeah, smoke.
2.
3. Just signed your own death certificate.
I need you to deliver a message. I want you to tell every fucker behind these walls that if they get the notion of quit me, don't.
Out of my road. See this motherfucker right here? Fucker think he's special. It don't work like that around your home, boy. Yeah, you come up with the pack. Feel me? They kind of tight too. That shit don't mean that around here though, blood. I done seen a whole lot of belt motherfuckers get that bent over here every day. Talking to you, partner.
You got to the count of 5.
Smoke. We're talking to me.
1.
Yeah. 3. Just signed your own death certificate.
I need you to deliver a message. I want you to tell every fucker behind these walls that if they get the notion of quit me, don't.
Out of my road. See this motherfucker right here? Fucker think he's special. It don't work like that around your home, boy. Yeah, you come up with the pack. Feel me? They kinda tight too. That shit don't mean that around here though, blood. I done seen a whole lot of big motherfuckers get that bent over yeah, every day. Talking to you, partner.
You got to the count of 5.
Smoke. We're talking to me.
1.
Yeah, smoke.
2.
It's 3. You just signed your own death certificate.
I need you to deliver a message. I want you to tell every fucker behind these walls that if they get the notion of put me, don't.
See this motherfucker right here? Fucker think he's special. It don't work like that around your home, boy. Yeah, you come up with the pack. Feel me? They kinda tight too. That shit don't mean that around here though, blood. I done seen a whole lot of big motherfuckers get that bent over yeah, every day. Talking to you, partner.
You got to the count of 5.
Smoke. We're talking to me.
1.
Yeah, smoke.
2.
Yeah, smoke. 3. You just signed your own death certificate.
I need you to deliver a message. I want you to tell every fucker behind these walls that if they get the notion of put me, don't.
See this motherfucker right here? Fucker think he's special. It don't work like that around your home, boy. Yeah, you come up with the pack. Feel me? They kinda tight too. That shit don't mean that around here though, blood. I done seen a whole lot of big motherfuckers get that bent over yeah, every day. Talking to you, partner.
You got to the count of 5.
Smoke. We're talking to me.
1.
Yeah, smoke.
2.
Yeah, smoke. 3. You just signed your own death certificate.
I need you to deliver a message. I want you to tell every fucker behind these walls that if they get the notion of put me, don't.
See this motherfucker right here? Fucker think he's special. It don't work like that around your home, boy. Yeah, you come up with the pack. Feel me? They kinda tight too. That shit don't mean that around here though, blood. I done seen a whole lot of big motherfuckers get that bent over yeah, every day. Talking to you, partner.
You got to the count of 5.
Smoke. We're talking to me.
1.
Yeah, smoke.
2.
Yeah, smoke. 3. You just signed your own death certificate.
I need you to deliver a message. I want you to tell every fucker behind these walls that if they get the notion of put me, don't.
See this motherfucker right here? Fucker think he's special. It don't work like that around your home, boy. Yeah, you come up with the pack. Feel me? They kinda tight too. That shit don't mean that around here though, blood. I done seen a whole lot of big motherfuckers get that bent over yeah, every day. Talking to you, partner.
You got to the count of 5.
Smoke. We're talking to me.
1.
Yeah, smoke.
2.
Yeah, smoke. 3. You just signed your own death certificate.
I need you to deliver a message. I want you to tell every fucker behind these walls that if they get the notion of put me, don't.
See this motherfucker right here? Fucker think he's special. It don't work like that around your homeboy. Yeah, you work with the pipe. Feel me? They kinda tight too. That shit don't mean that around here though, Blair. I done seen a whole lot of belt motherfuckers get that bent over, yeah, every day. Talking to you, partner.
You got to the count of 5.
Smoke, we're talking to me.
1.
Yeah, smoke.
2.
Yeah, smoke.
3.
You just signed your own death certificate.
This is the border between the US and Mexico, including fences, barriers, and military support, making it one of the toughest borders in the world. But this is the border between the US and Canada. It's just a cleared strip of forest with no fences or barriers. They decided to mark the longest land boundary in the world just that way for 5,500 mi from the state of Maine to Alaska by simply cutting a 20th wide strip of forest wherever there are trees. This deforestation is also known as the slash. The dividing line is also marked by monuments. There are about 8,000 of them along the border. All this is done in order to have a physical marking of the border. For example, during a hike, a person can easily identify the boundary. The slash is maintained by the International Boundary Commission, which also removes new trees there every 55 years. An interesting fact, the clearing of these trees costs each US taxpayer about 50 cents per year. This is the border between the US and Mexico, including fences, barriers, and military support, making it one of the toughest borders in the world. But this is the border between the US and Canada. It's just a cleared strip of forest with no fences or barriers. They decided to mark the longest land boundary in the world just that way for 5,500 mi from the state of Maine to Alaska by simply cutting a 20th wide strip of forest wherever there are trees. This deforestation is also known as the slash. The dividing line is also marked by monuments. There are about 8,000 of them along the border. All this is done in order to have a physical marking of the border. For example, during a hike, a person can easily identify the boundary. The slash is maintained by the International Boundary Commission, which also removes new trees there every 55 years. An interesting fact, the clearing of these trees costs each US taxpayer about 50 cents per year. This is the border between the US and Mexico, including fences, barriers, and military support.
This man is a genius. He bought a shipping container with plans to turn it into the perfect studio. First, he pulled out some foam boards. He installed them on the inside walls of the container, creating a soundproof barrier. Once that was done, he cleaned up the interior. Next, he measured the distance from the top and fixed some wood at the doorway. The man was about to build a wooden frame for the door. After securing the frame with screws, the door frame was ready. He then brought in some drywall board and installed them inside the container. Once everything was set in place, the space looked much cleaner and more polished. Then, he sanded everything smooth. Next, he installed a ventilation fan, ensuring that the air would circulate well. To give the space more character, he painted the walls with different colors. Once the paint dried, the interior was completely transformed. He added a workbench and sprayed some custom signatures on the walls, giving the studio a personal touch. Finally, he finished the wiring for the entire studio and tested the lighting. Now that the studio was complete, he could work even more seriously and efficiently. What do you think of this studio? This man is a genius. He bought a shipping container with plans to turn it into the perfect studio. First, he pulled out some foam boards. He installed them on the inside walls.
The man was about to hug his wife when she suddenly pulled out a gun and shot him in the stomach. He fell to the ground in shock, but Jess stayed calm. A sniper was watching them from a distance, so she had to make it look like her husband was dead. Soon, a female assassin arrived to get rid of the body. Jess watched carefully, waiting for the right moment. When a tree blocked the sniper's view, she quickly grabbed the assassin's gun and shot her with one bullet. The gunshot caught the sniper's attention, but he had lost sight of the target. He searched around, trying to find them again. Meanwhile, the man who had been shot woke up. Pain in his stomach reminded him of what had happened. Jess had told him earlier that she would shoot him in a safe place and that he should pretend to be dead. But he couldn't understand how his quiet, gentle wife had killed someone so easily. What he didn't know was that before they got married, Jess had a secret past. The man was about to hug his wife when she suddenly pulled out a gun and shot him in the stomach. He fell to the ground in shock, but Jess stayed calm. A sniper was watching them from a distance, so she had to make it look like her husband was dead. Soon, a female assassin arrived to get rid of the body. Jess watched carefully, waiting for the right moment. When a tree blocked the sniper's view, she quickly grabbed the assassin's gun and shot her with one bullet. The gunshot caught the sniper's attention, but he had lost sight of the target. He searched around, trying to find them again. Meanwhile, the man who had been shot woke up. Pain in his stomach reminded him of what had happened. Jess had told him earlier that she would...
Look, why did the car driver do this after seeing how the woman climbed the hill near the road with her son? The moment he notices her, the guy jumps out of the car and looks at the way the lady climbed up the hill while holding her son. A big stone was nearby, which the boy accidentally moved aside to check. With a lot of effort, he puts the rock exactly where the lady climbed. Then he walks away. When the woman comes down and notices the bridge there, her eyes light up. Yet, the boy who did this kind act by putting the rock has still not been recognized by anyone. Look, why did the car driver do this after seeing how the woman climbed the hill near the road with her son? The moment he noticed...
No one realized that Trump's early departure due to the Chiefs' crushing defeat would lead to 3 devastating disasters. During the Super Bowl, the Chiefs suffered a humiliating 40-22 loss at the Superdome. Unable to accept the outcome, Trump angrily left midway through the game. However, he seemed to overlook that this move would land him in the most serious trouble since taking office. First, the cost of Trump's Super Bowl attendance was covered by taxpayers, totaling a staggering $15 million. The cheapest ticket was $3,000, while seats near the Chiefs' sideline reached $8,650. Now, with Trump leaving early, taxpayers felt their money was wasted, potentially sparking anger and dissatisfaction among fans. Second, when Kendrick Lamar confirmed his attendance and performance at the Super Bowl, no one realized that Trump's early departure due to the Chiefs' crushing defeat would lead to 3 devastating...
Be honest enough to tell you that I'm worried about America. Yeah, I'm worried about our nation because it's sick with racism still. Just think about the fact that we live in a nation which was founded on the principle that all men are created equal. And yet men are still arguing over whether the color of a man's skin determines the content of his character. I believe that the Lord
It's not the right counsel. Imagine it's not the right Don't change the circle. Don't change those to sing yet. You go
Don't do that one yet.
What are you doing coming out of there? I'm talking to you. Stop. Stop right now.
Look, since you are incapable of grasping the situation, I am going to explain to you how this is supposed to go.
My son's done nothing but be a good young man.
Rewind it, Mom. Let's try again.
Not this time, Dorian. We're all witnesses.
You think you can intimidate me with a camcorder?
You've crossed the line, harassing us, abusing authority, targeting us, following us, shooting us, killing us. Now we cross the line. My son will cross that gate, so back the fuck up.
Come on, Lasky, let's get out of here.
You're the one who's really afraid.
What are you doing coming out of there? I'm talking to you. Stop. Stop right now.
What authority are these coders and these young people, these aides that work for Elon Musk, do they have to fire people? Like this is, I would like the noodle spined Republicans that serve in the United States Senate and the Congress to do something, to speak up, to say something. This is a purge of dedicated public servants from our federal government.
The thing,
Purge.
but the ultimate takeaway here, folks, to understand is that do you really think the purge stops with federal employees?
Come on.
You really think that's where this ends? That this stops at federal employees? When you've got the media apparatus sitting there, you've already seen the assault now on the sort of cultural nonprofit. Oh, Donald Trump is down the head of the Kennedy Center, right? As president of the United States, purging the culture through the arts. So if y'all just get comfortable thinking, well, that's just a federal employee and I'm not a federal employee, think again.
What authority are the
Look, do you know what this person is doing? Well, after you've used a cutting board for a while, it may start to crack, and mold can easily appear on the underside. First, the board is soaked in salted water for 24 hours to remove fungi and prevent mold. After that, it's washed with boiling water for extra sterilization. Then, a small amount of oil is heated in a pan. Hot oil has a high ability to penetrate, preventing moisture from evaporating and protecting the board from cracking. Look, do you know what this person is doing? Well, after you've used a cutting board for a while, it may start to.
Why do Ethiopians look so different from other Africans? A big part of their DNA is not from this continent. Ethiopia is home to more than 100 million people. This ancient nation lies in the Horn of Africa.
Want to know how it is?
These guys are going to create the coolest backyard you will ever see. They are going to build a unique concrete pad. But first they must compact the gravel to create a base. After that, they create wooden frames where the concrete will be poured into to create an interesting design. The concrete must be smooth for a flawless finished result. Then they remove the wooden frames using various tools to get the job done. In the gaps between the concrete, they brush in black gravel to slow down weed growth. The last step is rinsing down the concrete to reveal the finished result. These guys are going to create the coolest backyard you will ever see. They are going to build a unique concrete pad. But first they must compact the gravel to create a base. After that, they create wooden frames where the concrete will be poured in.
Well, good afternoon. Here in the state capitol in Tallahassee, I'm pleased to be joined by Larry Keefe, our new Executive Director for Immigration Enforcement, Roger Young, Executive Director, Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, Deputy Commissioner Vaden Pollard from FDLE, Director Mark Themey, Florida State Guard, and Colonel Lee Adams for the Florida Department of Agriculture Law Enforcement Services. We have been focusing like a laser beam on immigration enforcement. That the states and locals have a key role to play in assisting the Trump administration in making good on this important mandate that they received from voters in November. We've been doing this, fighting Biden's policies for 4 years, and doing that in ways that have been effective, but also recognizing that we didn't have a partner in Washington who actually wanted to see good policies come to fruition. Now, we did not waste any time following the inauguration of President Trump. In January, the state of Florida signed a memorandum of understanding between the Florida Highway Patrol and Immigration and Customs Enforcement to help facilitate continued partnership to fight illegal immigration and trafficking on our state's highways. We were one of the first states in the nation to enter into what's called a 287G agreement with the Department of Homeland Security through our Florida Highway Patrol. And you've already seen fruits of that with operations that are consistent and ongoing, and that have taken great action to protect this state and its people from illegal immigration. And of course, here last Thursday, we signed legislation that makes Florida the strongest state in the nation for state and local cooperation with federal immigration enforcement.
Millions of acres of corn growing land are threatened by millions of invasive feral hogs. They ate every crop in sight, causing damage to millions of acres. So how do Texas farmers deal with millions of giant wild boars attacking their cornfields? Here is the video. Please like, share, and subscribe right now if you like this content. The state of Texas, with its significant corn growing area, is facing a serious challenge from its feral hog population. Data from the United States Department of Agriculture, USDA, shows that in 2022, Texas corn acreage reached 10.7 million acres. It grew nothing, as approximately 1.5 million acres of corn have been targeted by feral hogs, accounting for 14% of the state's total corn acreage. They destroyed all the fields. The corn plants collapsed. They also ate a lot of newly planted corn areas, and the traces they left behind were terrifying. Their footprints and fur fell everywhere in the field. Texas agricultural markets are facing major losses, especially in the central region, where feral hog densities are the highest. According to estimates by the Texas Farmers Association, the damage caused by wild pigs to the state's agricultural industry has reached an impressive figure of $800 million in 2022. Texas authorities are working hard to control and reduce feral pig populations. However, this is a major challenge that requires close cooperation and creative solutions from both local communities and governments. Cornfield hunting in Texas has become a key way to deal with invasive feral hog populations. Different hunting methods are used as well, each of which is particularly effective in controlling and minimizing wild boar damage to cornfields. Hunting during the day is the most common and favorite method. Hunters given access to cornfields use various types of hunting equipment to shoot wild boars. This is an effective way to minimize damage and control wild boar populations. The first giant wild boar caught weighed 680 pounds during the day in Central Texas in 2022. The value of this wild boar reached about $3,500. Based on wild boar meat prices in Texas every year, daytime hunting methods yield positive results, with about 100,000 wild hogs captured in Texas cornfields. This number accounts for 15% of all feral hogs hunted in Texas each year. Hunting wild boars at night in the field using drones has become an effective method, helping to significantly increase the ability to harvest wild boars compared to daytime hunting methods. The drone is equipped with an infrared camera, allowing observation of both fields and wild boar movements at night. High-intensity flashlights are used to illuminate a specific area when hunters spot wild boars. Hunting tools are designed with high precision to ensure accurate targeting and safety of wild boars in low light conditions. The method of hunting wild boars at night has proven to be effective by harvesting a larger number of wild boars than hunting during the day. Wild boars are often active at night and often gather to eat in cornfields at night, creating favorable conditions for hunting. The largest wild boar ever hunted at night in Texas weighed 800 pounds, hunted by a group of hunters in Central Texas in 2022. This wild boar is worth about $4,000 based on wild boar meat prices in Texas. Cornfield hunting isn't only an effective method of controlling feral hog populations, but it also makes an important contribution to reducing the damage they cause to Texas agriculture. Creativity and diversity in the application of these hunting methods is an important key to protecting cornfields and maintaining sustainable development for Texas agriculture. In newly harvested cornfields, or preparing for the growing season, airplanes can be used to hunt wild boars. At this time, there are no trees covering the field, making it easier to observe and hunt more effectively. Twin-engine helicopters are the most common type of helicopters used for hunting wild boars. The twin-engine helicopters can carry more hunters and hunting equipment than single-engine helicopters. However, the single-engine helicopters can be used to hunt wild boars in narrow or difficult-to-reach areas. First, it is necessary to move high to be able to observe the area with wild boars, while reducing noise and impact on residential areas. After zoning the hunting area, control the helicopter to fly low to approach the wild boars. With high skills, one wild boar can be caught at a time. Helicopters allow hunters to hunt wild boars more effectively than other hunting methods. Helicopters allows hunters to hunt wild boars over a large area and more easily detecting wild boars. In addition, hunting wild boars by helicopters is safer than hunting wild boars on foot because the hunter does not need to come into direct contact with wild boars. However, hunting wild boars by helicopters also has some disadvantages, as the helipads can be expensive and difficult to operate. In addition, hunting wild boars by helicopters can cause noise and environmental pollution as well. Why is the wild boar population is increasing rapidly in Texas? Let's continue watching the rest of the video to know more and more about this subject. The question here is, why do wild boars move to urban areas? Someone said that about 10 years ago, there was a man walking through the forest. He encountered a wild boar in the way and fed it. This action of his opened the door for wild boars to approach the city. Wild boar feeding in the city is happening a lot. Therefore, the first thing is not to feed wild boars. Feeding wild boars in the city is strictly prohibited so that bad things don't happen. In addition, houses and areas where people live should build fences to prevent wild boars from entering people's houses. This man told us about wild boars appearing around his house. Travel in search of food, causing destruction to the surrounding environment. He immediately bought materials to build a fence around the house. This fence can not only prevent wild boars from entering, it can also prevent many other species from attacking his house. Simply using wood to make them, the price is quite cheap compared to some other types of fences. Besides limiting wild boars intrusions, this wooden fence also carries a series of other benefits.
I think one of the best responses to all of the people that have been out there over the last week or so defending Elon Musk's hand and arm gesture during his inauguration day speech, and we all know what I'm talking about. But one of the best responses to the people defending it has been, try it at your workplace and see what happens. To all of you saying that, no, it does not look like a Nazi salute, try it at work and see what happens to you. Well, apparently, a Republican official in Pennsylvania decided, you know what? Not a bad idea, right? So she got on her personal TikTok account and posted a video to mock, of course, all of the non-Trump supporters last week, when she said, quote, just checking in on my friends who are struggling this week. My heart goes out to you. I hope you're doing okay. And when she said, "My heart goes out to you," she, of course, made the same gesture that Elon Musk did, tapped her chest twice, then right arm straight up into the air.
Checking in on my friends who are struggling this week. My heart goes out to you. Hope you're doing okay.
And this individual, by the name of Laura Smith, happens to be the, or at least was, I guess we should say now, the Tallamenson Township Supervisor, which is an elected position in Tallamenson Township. And my apologies if I'm mispronouncing that. But she posted that video on TikTok and then got on Facebook and she said she did it to stir the pot because I can. Just wanted to stir the pot, right? Given this hand gesture that all you think is a Nazi salute, I just want to stir the pot a little bit, right? That's super fun. Well, she then resigned. Yeah, see, turns out the public backlash to that was pretty significant. Understandably so, because it definitely at least looks like a Nazi salute. And she resigned. And after, mocking the people who didn't vote for Trump, like just checking in on you this week and then saying, "I'm stirring the pot because I can," she was way, way more subdued in her resignation letter, saying, quotes, "To allow the township to move forward without the encumbrance of the fallout of my video, I tender my resignation from the Tallamenson Township Board of Supervisors effective immediately." So, a big old oopsie daisy, right? Didn't know that stirring the pot was gonna, cause the pot to be stirred. I mean, who could have predicted that, right? The township, to their credit, got on social media and said the Board of Supervisors cannot and will not tolerate such conduct. The board intends to accept this resignation at a public meeting as soon as possible. Now, she also, in an interview with the Philadelphia Inquirer, said that her video had been greatly mischaracterized. You knew what you were doing, and you knew why you did it. I'm not even saying that you did it in a racist way. You did it to mock those people that said Elon Musk was being racist with it. So you wanted to mock them. You wanted to mock the people that were concerned. You wanted to mock the people who were going to make sure that it doesn't happen here. And that was somehow mischaracterized. Interesting. She continued and said that she abhors racism, anti-Semitism, or discrimination in any fashion or form, and her record as a township supervisor attests to her commitment to treat all people with dignity and respect.